After the big game last night, we are inducting the first game into the Hall of Fame. I'm Kylie here at Games Unlimited. I help people unbox fun, and we're going through the 25 Hall of Fame inductees from Board Game Geek, starting with the first, the oldest, 1959's Diplomacy. This is an infamous game in tabletop gaming circles. Most people think Diplomacy, they think, oh yeah, I've lost friendships over that game. Incredibly clever game. It was originally self-published when it first came out, and it is a war game with zero randomness. There's no dice rolling for attacking. It's simply move your troops in. If you have more troops than the other country or the place you're invading, you take over that territory. Simple enough, but since everyone sort of starts on the same playing field, the only way to get things done is through diplomacy, negotiating with the other players, making deals and say, hey, let's both go in there. We can take over that. We can split it up later. We can figure things out. Now, what makes the game so infamous is the level of treachery, backstabbing, and betrayal that can happen. You see, you can talk about what you're going to do, but everyone submits their orders secretly. You literally write down on a piece of paper, here's what I'm doing this round. Here's where my troops are moving. So despite what you've talked about with the other players, you might write something down completely differently. You have no control over what the other players actually do. So once all those orders are revealed, stuff moves around, territory changes hand, new countries are formed, it disappears. And if you've done things right, maybe you've got a nice, strong alliance and you're working with another player. Or maybe they stabbed you in the back. One of the interesting things about this game is the vibrant community it created for play by mail way back in the day. I mean, this game came out in the early 60s, and people were playing it by sending their orders to a centralized person who was collating everything, but of course also calling the other players, literally making backroom deals. Of course, you can also play this game just at the tabletop, depending on your house rules. Maybe all negotiation and discussion happens to happen above the table. It's really up to you. Now, as a game in a brick and mortar store, we do not sell a lot of Diplomacy. But this is one of those games that we like to call a game that gives us game store bona fides. Having it on the shelf creates conversation. One of my favorite moments, Chandra mentions a time someone walked into Games Unlimited, saw Diplomacy on the shelf, and yelled, sort of gleefully, "Diplomacy! I haven't talked to my brother in 20 years because of that game." That's just the mythos that surrounds this game. So while it's not something we sell a ton of, we love to keep this one on the shelf because someone's going to see it and they're going to talk about the epic times that they've had in their past playing Diplomacy. It's a fantastic pick for the Board Gaming Hall of Fame and one that we will continue to keep on our shelves here at Games Unlimited.